I've always been a lucky one among the unlucky. My mother was a teen who wanted to keep me against her better judgment, but was found to be terminally ill, so I was handed to the orphanage. Soon one of the nuns became quite fond of me, and my life was good, for an orphan at least. I was only adopted now that I'm 14, along with 5 other kids, but I'm happy. I can be happy wherever. I adapt easily, no matter what life throws in my way. That's probably the reason why I knew I should act like nothing was wrong at the coronary manor, even though everything was wrong. First of all, some mirrors don't show reflections, but you never know which. They're all moody. Then there's this terrible stench coming from the attic, poorly disguised by infusions of flowers and oils. The maids say it's Dad's taxidermy workshop. Whatever creepy truth lays on the top of the helix staircase, I don't want to know. Ignorance is bliss. Speaking of taxidermy, Dad seems to be very good at it. His trophy heads look so alive. Sometimes I swear I can see their eyes moving, and weirdly, I always feel observed when I'm around them. Truth be told, I feel observed the whole time. But the manor is really nice, even when I wake up and realize my room switched floors again. Oh, I haven't talked about that yet. About once a week, you'll wake up and notice the house is in a complete disarray. The rooms appearing in places they shouldn't be. You'll open the door to your bathroom and find the kitchen or the courtyard. Then you try to leave your bedroom and you see a hall, but it's actually the hall from 2 floors below. This sort of thing. I've learned to think it's kind of entertaining. I asked the maids, but no one knows why it's happening. The maids are really nice and accommodating for us kids. They spend the day preparing our favorite meals and the nights helping Dad at his workshop. He's a businessman, so he's never home during daytime, only for dinner. Then he spends the night crafting his beloved taxidermies. Thinking back now, I don't think anyone in the house ever sleeps, except for myself and my siblings. Unfortunately, you'll soon find out why it's pointless to learn their names. It's been a few weeks since the adoption now. On the first night, the youngest of us asked Dad why the mirrors have no reflections. Then he gently said,
I only have one rule here. No questions for Dad.
Mere few minutes later, she asked him about the smell coming from the attic. On the next morning, she was gone. The maid said that she didn't adapt to the life in the manor, and adoption was cancelled. After that, the remaining 5 of us were careful around Dad. But as long as we followed this one rule, and we did, he was the kindest person in the world. He was funny, attentive, and always wanted to solve our every problem. Dad talked excitedly about Mom for days, how she was traveling but couldn't wait to meet us, and how we were all going to love her. And then she was a fucking doll. She arrived around 10 days ago. A life-size doll like an ugly Barbie. Head too big with pale yellow nylon hair. Eyes too large, too unnaturally light blue. Her ridiculously thin nose couldn't possibly breathe, and her enormous lips perpetually pouting would explode from the excessive filling if she was a real person. Her body was clearly made of hard plastic and segmented into the joints, with horribly long legs and arms and waist way too slender. Her feet were curved in an impossible angle, even when she wasn't in high heels. She was wearing human-sized Barbie clothes and human-sized Barbie rubber shoes. She already sat by the table on the first night, immobile.
Go give your mother a hug.
Awkwardly, all of us hugged the cold, stationary plastic, her arms not embracing us at all. Then we sat down to eat. One of the maids fed the doll, letting the soup run down from her tightly closed oversized lips. My siblings and I were all incredibly uncomfortable, until one of my brothers, the one I liked the most, broke the heavy silence. "Dad, I'm so sorry, but is Mother a doll?" Cold electric fear coursed through my stomach. No questions for Dad.
"Come here,"
Dad calmly said. No one dared to breathe, except for the maids who went about their activities like the atmosphere wasn't eerie. They almost seemed to be having fun, although their faces never betrayed emotions. My brother approached Dad. Dad just stared at him. He didn't move a muscle. And my brother's eyeballs fucking exploded. All the kids screamed, and the maid that was feeding Mother slowly turned the doll's head to watch the scene with her large plastic unblinking eyes, making it even creepier. Dad got up, cleaning his mouth with a linen napkin.
"You'll all do well to follow the one rule. Maid, take the boy to the doctor."
I haven't seen my brother since. I keep telling myself that he's being treated at a good hospital, but of course, things got worse. Dad started demanding that we spend time with Mother, doing bonding activities like sunbathing and gardening, and they all went horribly. During sunbathing, her plastic chest started to melt. On gardening, she lost one of her plastic fingers. None of the maids were able to make her perform tasks like she was a person, because heck, she wasn't. Ever since Mother arrived, things have been hard. We have to hug her the whole time, eat breakfast with her, help her choose her outfits, do outdoors activities with her, and sometimes even carry her to the dinner table or to her room. I swear to God, I try to find it all entertaining, like I ended up living in some sort of warped episode of the Addams Family. It's how my brain copes. I'm an incurable optimist. But just last night, I saw something horrible enough to shatter this way of thinking. I woke up feeling hungry in the middle of the night and decided to head downstairs to the kitchen. I didn't turn on any lights and avoided making noise, afraid to be found by something I wouldn't want to. I felt observed as usual. My oldest sister apparently decided to go for a late-night snack as well. I was going to make some small talk when I realized she wasn't alone. A larger figure was with her, gleaming faintly in the penumbra. She was having some mother and daughter bonding time. This fact was creepy on its own, but as my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I realized what my sister was eating. It was a large piece of raw pork, bones and all. She was devouring it like a beast, drooling and staining her clothes in blood. The doll's mouth was stained with blood as well, and for the first time, I saw some movement coming from it. It was chewing. I left the horrible scene as slowly and quietly as I could and screamed in my pillow for a long time. I had no idea if they saw me. It took me a long time to fall asleep again, and I only did it due to pure exhaustion when the sun was already bright outside. I missed breakfast. Things feel so off today. My siblings look sickish, and the stench that fills the house is somewhat different. My oldest sister didn't join the rest of us for lunch. To my relief, neither did the doll. I asked the maids about them. You can ask the maids anything. They never got mad, but sometimes they don't answer at all. Your mother is out shopping. Your sister? Oh, she was granted access to the attic today. Must be there. I had been so overwhelmed with the doll that I completely forgot about the mysterious attic and all the other odd stuff in this manor. The maid continued. Oh, that reminds me. Your mother left a note for you. She invited me for a little alone bonding time over a meal. Just the two of us. Later today. My name is Craig. I'm a 47-year-old man. My grandson is 8. I know, I'm a little young to have a grandchild, but alas, my daughter got pregnant at 15. She died during birth, and the father is, to this day, unknown. So my husband Keith and I took our grandson as our own. We named him Alex, after his mother, and kept her original name for him as his middle name, Seth. Halloween has always been my favorite holiday, and my daughter's too. We would stay up every night watching horror movies, counting down to the 31st. Keith wasn't a huge fan of spooky things, but Alexis and I would always tease him for being scared. So, of course, I wanted to continue these traditions with Alex. Everything always went according to plan. Watch some cheesy horror movies, eat a lot of candy, and dress up together to go trick-or-treating. Last Halloween, Alex and I went out while Keith stayed home to deal with other trick-or-treaters, as always. Alex was dressed as a swamp monster, and I was his latest victim. Keith still dressed up for the kids he gave out candy to. He was Shrek. He always liked dressing up as a family, even if my husband was a huge baby when it came to Halloween. This was the year it happened. Alex and I had scored all we could in the rich part of town, which always had the best candy and decorations, so we headed to the quieter side of town. Most of the houses had gone dark. Some had a bowl of candy in the yard with a sign saying, "Take one." We took the whole bowl. Once we had given up in our hunt, we got into the car with our bags full of candy. Alex stared out the window at the dim decorations on the quiet houses. I nearly swerved when he yelled, "Poppy, wait!" The car screeched to a halt as I looked at him. "What is it?" I asked. He pointed at the window. "Haunted house! They always give out candy. Pretty please, can we go?" I didn't have the heart to tell him no, or it's too late. So I pulled the car around and looked over the place. The front yard was full of decorations. A fake dead body swung back and forth in the wind as it hung by its neck to the tree. The rope looked like intestines. A go-away sign splattered with fake blood sat in the yard with a head sitting beside it. Then I saw the sign saying, "Haunted house this way." The place looked pretty good. "All right, let's go. Grab your bag," I told Alex. Excitedly, he grabbed his candy bag and jumped out of the car. Once I stepped out, a wave of stench invaded my nostrils, causing my nose hairs to burn. It smelled like shit, but I figured it was for effect. I followed Alex up the brick path. I knocked on the door and waited for a response. A woman dressed as a clown emerged from behind the house. She waved a finger, beckoning us over. My gut twisted, but seeing the excitement on Alex's face, I ignored that feeling and followed after the clown woman. The backyard was just as disheveled as the front. The clown stopped. We waited a few seconds before a young man dressed as a vampire jumped out at us. "Welcome to the African Manor," he said. "I am your guide, Count Yukia. Beware, once you enter, you won't come out alive." I thought the shtick was pretty overdone, but Alex was enjoying it, and that was all I cared about. "Follow me as I show you this house of horror." The place seemed pretty normal at first. Some cheap jump scares here and there. Count Yukia told us the whole story about how a family was killed here. All the blood was drained from their bodies when they were found, and there were 2 punctures in their necks. He then hissed and flashed his fangs at us. Alex clung to my leg, shaking in fear. Then it was the last part of the house, the basement. The bottom of the steps was pitch black. "It was in this very basement where the family murders always took place. Each victim was pushed down the stairs." This was wrong. I knew it was. "Before we go in, can I go to the bathroom first?" I asked, trying my best to not raise suspicion. Count Yukiya seemed irritated, but pointed me to the bathroom anyways. I dragged Alex with me. "But Poppy, I don't need to use the bathroom," he complained. Once inside, I locked the door behind us. Just as I thought, there was a window. I kneeled down and put my hands on Alex's shoulders. "Al, it's not safe here. We're leaving. I'm sure Grandpop has leftover candy at home, plus our bags are already full." The sternness in my voice told Alex to do as I said and not to fight me on it. He nodded. The window was boarded shut from the outside. Damn it! I peeked my head at the bathroom door. The front door was wide open. I put Alex on my back and prepared to bolt it out of the door. Then I saw the clown lady again. She was dragging a dead body. Not a prop. A real fucking dead body. I would have to run by her to get out. I stepped forward, ready to run. The floor creaked beneath my feet. She stopped in her tracks. Both of us stood still for a few moments. Finally, the lady snapped her head at me. It spun 180 degrees. All I could think was, what the fuck? That thing sprinted at me, fast, on all fours. I ran to the other direction. I felt Alex tighten his grip around my throat. That wasn't a woman chasing me. She looked like something overgrown, centipede, demon thing. Razor-like teeth sunk their way into my flesh. I threw Alex in front of me. He broke his wrist in the landing. "Run!" I yelled. He obeyed. I kicked the creature in the face as I reached for my pocket knife. I slashed it across the face a few times until it lost its grip on me. Limping, I ran the best I could to the door. Alex was already in the car. "Hurry, Poppy!" I practically threw myself in my car. I backed up out of the driveway and floored it away. That creature and Count Yukiya watched us leave. Keith was worried as hell when we got home. I tended myself when he cleaned up Alex. We went to the hospital and called 911. The police found nothing but an empty house. No trace of Yukiya and his creature. No trace of the bodies. Nothing. Once we got home, we sent Alex to bed with his candy bags. I didn't know where they went, but they're out there somewhere. Never visit a homemade haunted house. Stay safe this Halloween. We certainly will because of this year. We're buying candy at the store and staying home. I almost lost my daughter twice. I won't let that happen again. Hi there, thank you for watching. If you wish to see more videos like this, be sure to click on the playlist link down in the description. If you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. If you'd like to get in contact with me and send me your own stories, there's a link to my Discord and email in the description. See you next time.